Hey everyone, and welcome back to the ATD Movie Channel. I'm Tony, and today I'll be reviewing Den of Thieves, starring Gerard Butler and Pablo Schreiber. Let's jump right into it. Den of Thieves, from day one, has been touted as a film from the same DNA as Michael Mann's Heat. That movie, starring Al Pacino and Robert De Niro as a cop and a thief respectively, follows their intriguing game of cat and mouse. Heat is considered by many as one of the best films in history. Spoiler alert, Den of Thieves will not go down as one of the best films in history. In fact, other than its premise and a few other aspects, there is little to no relation to Heat. This film stars Gerard Butler as a cop who has been tracking down a group of thieves led by Pablo Schreiber. The thieves pull off a heist at the beginning of the film, and the chase for them begins. The entire film follows the criminals through their planning and execution of a large-scale heist in the third act. And that's a summary version of the plot, of course. Let me tell you what I liked about the film. Gerard Butler gives one of the best performances of his career. This is a cop who has lost his way. He doesn't know which side of right or wrong he's on, and that relentlessness has created a gray area in his life. It's a space in which he and his colleagues act as though they're above the law. Butler's spiral towards obsessing over catching these thieves is really great work. I always said Butler was a great actor with a horrible agent. If we could see Butler play more of these compelling characters, his career could take off again just like it did after 300. There's another actor that gives a compelling and interesting performance too, and that's Pablo Schreiber. He's the leader of the thieves, and he's really interesting in his time on screen. He has this demanding presence that can't be ignored. There's a couple of scenes where even a dirty look gets the attention of the other characters on screen, as well as the audience in the seats. These two leading actors really did a great job in making us believe that there was a rivalry of equals. The action in the film is also really good. That popular phrase, dark and gritty, is in full effect in this movie. The action and the violence are fierce. Earlier I mentioned the heist at the beginning of the film. It's spectacular in its setup and execution. The way that the director of photography, Terry Stacy, captured this scene is amazing. He sets up the camera in places it has no business being, giving us angles we've never seen in a heist movie, as well as capturing the intricate details of how these thieves pull off the heist. In this scene, the editing by Joel Cox also needs to be commended. The cuts are perfect and give us just enough information to know what's happening without jumping around so fast we're lost in the shuffle. The camera work and choreography of the final showdown is awesome too. It's too long, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but it showcases some realistic firefights between the two groups. So the acting and the action are things I really enjoyed, but that's about where it ends. The acting may be great, but the characters are so poorly written. There's a subplot involving Gerard Butler's estranged wife and kids, and it's just laughable. It was this lazy attempt at showing us the character's duplicity and internal struggle to find which side of the law he belongs on. And that's just one example of the lack of any real character development. There's some exposition that sheds light on Pablo Schreiber's character and his past military experience, but that's it. The exploration into the character ends there. He's a mastermind who figured out a way to infiltrate the Federal Reserve, and the best we can do is hear about how he served in the military in one single line of dialogue? Tell me more. Why is he so determined to make this money? Why isn't he earning an honest living with his experience? Why is he so quick to kill cops and not civilians? We can't answer any of these questions at the end of 2 hours. Other characters played by O'Shea Jackson Jr. and 50 Cent are completely wasted. The writers and director chose to give us a sneak peek into these personal lives just to throw them off to the side. And O'Shea Jackson Jr. has a big part in the movie, but we don't learn a damn thing about his character. I do want to note that Jackson is good in the movie in terms of his performance as the weakest link in the Den of Thieves. See what I did there? But seriously, there's no character development like there was in Heat. I cared about the Pacino and De Niro characters equally in that movie. I understood their motivations and convictions, and there's none of that here. I'm going to be careful not to spoil anything, but the end left me angry. All that the filmmakers had built up to, and all that we've been watching, is flipped on its head. And I'm not talking about a tasteful twist like The Sixth Sense or The Usual Suspects. I'm talking about a retcon that changes our entire understanding of these characters and the plot of the film. I'll end this conversation right there to avoid spoilers, but let me know what you thought of the ending in the comments below. Lastly, I mentioned before how much I like the editing of the action sequences, and most of the time, editing and pacing get clumped together, and rightfully so. But in this movie, I found the editing to be great, and the pacing to be downright awful. The first act is fast, and it's throwing a ton of information at us. We see the thieves pull off the heist, we're meeting characters, we're establishing this world, and we're hearing about the plan to break into the Federal Reserve. Now, the second act slows to a crawl, with some ridiculous run-ins between the two quote-unquote gangs. And there's one scene in particular at a restaurant where the two groups coincidentally run into each other, and there's basically a staring contest before everyone goes on their way. And even if it was never meant to be a coincidence and the cops were surveilling the criminals, it slows the movie down without pushing the rivalry forward. And then the third act, essentially the heist we've all been waiting for, feels like it's playing out in real time. I mean, seriously, the third act is exhaustingly long. It's disproportionately long at somewhere close to an hour, at least that's what it felt like. And while the camera work and choreography are top notch, it lasts so long that there's no more fuel in the tank as an audience. I was done and ready to see the end 30 minutes before I actually saw it. And I think I'm in the minority here because I saw it with some friends and they loved the slow, steady burn in the third act. But for me, it was painfully slow. Overall, the movie had some unique things to offer, but this cannot be categorized as a good movie. It just can't be. And if I can't call this a good movie, I have no business referring to it as a movie in the same vein as Michael Mann's Heat. I loved Butler and Schreiber's performances as well as the action, but I hated just about everything else in this movie. So, have you seen Den of Thieves? Have you seen the classic film Heat? And what did you think about the performances by Gerard Butler and Pablo Schreiber? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be notified of content uploaded regularly. You can find other movie reviews on the channel as well. Thanks for watching my review to Den of Thieves. I'll talk to you soon.